Hola, 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 hola. Hola, buenas tardes. O bueno, buenas noches. So, good evening, everyone. Sí, ya sé que probablemente no me esperaba. I know that probably you were not counting on me. You were, yes, you were not expecting me. But this is a good night to just talk about the important things. And one of the important things I want to talk about in a very brief time, I'm not going to just abuse of your time, is about the elections tomorrow. Mañana son las elecciones en Kentucky y en todo el país. Y quiero compartir, básicamente hacer una reacción a un video del capellán del Capitolio, el reverendo Lee Watts, que a mí me gusta mucho los comentarios que él hace de las cosas que suceden en Kentucky. ¿Ok? Entonces, eh, quiero compartirles. So we want to sit down. I'm going to do a short reaction to one of the things that Lee Watts, the chaplain of the Kentucky Capitol. I personally know him. Patriot Point, his program is one of my favorite programs. And then I said, you know what, the day before the elections, I'm going to sit down and have a conversation with my audience. And I'm going to have it very soft and tender because it has to be in Spanish and it has to be also in English because it's important. It's an important thing. So this is one of those things that you just want to do, that you want to talk about, because he had this very interesting program in which he said, okay, these are Kentucky primaries and this is the people I'm voting for. And I said, you know what? Tomorrow, Tuesday, is the 16th of May. It's an important day. And I want us just to reflect about that. So those of us who can vote, we should vote. It's important. But those of us who can't, but it will be good if we do, I will talk to them. I will explain to everybody, to the English speaking people who can vote and should vote. For whomever you want to vote, just do it. But for the Spanish speaking people, that some of them can, but some of them can't vote. So it's a good thing. Let me just remind you this Proverbs 29:2 before we just go with that comment and that reaction. Proverbs 29:2, which is the reason why I'm sitting down now, just right there, right here, giving you food for your thoughts. Proverbs 29, verse 2. It says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. I hope at this point in time, you don't really need nobody to tell you how the circumstances in the country have deteriorated with the present administration. And you may think, well, I don't have to be talking about that. You know, we are Christians. We're concerned basically about the things in the kingdom of God, but we suffer the consequences like everybody else. I think it's time for us to sit down and have a nice chat about this particular topic. Entonces, lo que les quiero decir es que a veces los cristianos pensamos que no nos tenemos que introducir, meter en ese aspecto, porque, hey, come on. Nosotros nada más que nos ocupamos de las cosas del reino de los cielos, pero el asunto de eso es que nosotros no estamos en el cielo, estamos en la tierra y aquí estamos, no tenemos más nada que hacer. Así que nos vamos al inicio y como siempre es tomarle el pulso al país y es sentarse y reflexionar. Si usted no puede votar, perfecto, sencillamente ore, porque todo ayuda. Vámonos entonces a una pausa y comenzamos. Okay. Pues aquí estamos y entonces déjenme ver si les puedo compartir lo que dijo. No voy a compartir por un asunto por un problema de copyright, probably. Although I don't think he will just tell me anything about that. But anyway, never mind. It is important. It is important for us to okay, Kentucky primary. There you go. Okay, there we go. Aquí está la opinión que nos dio, aquí está el debate. That this is a debate that happened 13 days ago between the gubernatorial candidates. One of the strangest things I find is that though all these things happening, all the things going on, nobody knew anything. I didn't even hear about that. I really have no idea, to be honest. I really could not tell you, oh, well, yes, this happened or this doesn't happen. But so one of the most strangest things in this particular voting of tomorrow is that how is it possible that there is an election tomorrow? Come on, guys, tomorrow is the primary. So the Republicans are going to have a primary, and then there has not been nothing in particular that you can say, well, this is happening or this is not happening. No, you can't say. You're just there. Okay, perfect. Going ahead and voting tomorrow. So something that concerns me. Let's. I'll be reacting to this particular video of the chaplain, and I'm going to just try to present to you exactly. Let me see if I can get it. When he started talking about the candidates and who he started talking about them, he started telling us exactly who will or who will not he will vote. He started explaining and showing that in the day of the debate, there was something that happens. Aquí está el primer candidato. Mike Harmon, que es el Kentucky State Auditor, el auditor del estado de Kentucky. Y recordemos que Mike Harmon, este es uno de los candidatos republicanos, porque recuerden que todos los republicanos mañana van antes de ir contra el demócrata, van todos los unos contra los otros, okay? So tomorrow what essentially we have is that the Republican primary, I don't think there is any any Democratic primary, because basically the Democrats are in power in the person of Andy Beshear. So because of that, then let me introduce you to the candidates. If you're a Republican, you have to vote, and you can vote. Then this is the idea. Así que el asunto es que mañana votan todos los republicanos. La votación de mañana es esencialmente tratando de determinar quién va contra Andy Beshear en noviembre, ¿ok? Estos son todos los republicanos. Aquí está Mike Harmon, que es el auditor, el que descubrió que había un tremendo problema con el asunto del employment, ¿ok? Él descubrió que el gobernador, pues sencillamente había pedido un enorme préstamo basado en el pueblo de Kentucky, y es como una barbaridad de millones, una cantidad de millones de dólares, 80 y pico millones de dólares, pidió prestado al gobernador sin contar con nadie. Y aquí está lo que dijo. Simply put, Andy Beshear has the personal wealth to pay the legal fees, and he should do so instead of taking away tax dollars that could be used to address real problems in Kentucky, like better roads and improving education. He made this decision. Now he should own up to it and pay the price. Este es el auditor del estado de Kentucky, Mike Harmon, que está diciendo que descubrieron que el gobernador sencillamente no había pedido nada. No le había pedido al Congreso ninguna recomendación para el asunto de pedir un dinero prestado para el employment, y metió al Estado en una deuda terrible, y lo penalizaron como con 200 y pico mil dólares para que pagara, y ahora él quiere pagarlo de los fondos del Estado de Kentucky. Y Mike Harmon está diciendo simplemente, Andy Beshear tiene la cantidad de dinero suficiente para pagar los fees legales, y debe hacer eso en lugar de estar tratando de quitarle los dólares que pueden ser usados para arreglar problemas reales en Kentucky, como por ejemplo el estado de las carreteras. Bueno, bienvenidos a propósito de los que me ven por mi canal en YouTube, bienvenidos a los que me están viendo en City and Council Talks, bienvenidos a los que me ven en Nosotras en Casa. So welcome you, and I'm sorry that I'm saying like, welcome you if you're looking at me from City and Council Talk and from La Emisora C in YouTube. Please comment, subscribe to La Emisora C, to our channel, our YouTube channel. Please comment, subscribe. But and also in City and Council Talk, probably I have some people, that's why I'm speaking in English and Spanish at the same. But let me just say this one, I'm going to keep this one in English because this is an important thing. This is Mike Harmon, the Kentucky auditor. The governor is trying to pass us the bill, so to see if we can be the ones that pay for his civil penalties, because he didn't ask nobody to borrow some money for the employment, and then simply put, he's just trying to make the state of Kentucky to pay for that. And Mike Harmon said that, no, you should, and you should pay yourself. I don't know if you agree, or if you do not agree, but I find very refreshing that Mike Harmon really want to put that. So we have the chaplain here telling us about him. And I like Mike Harmon. I like his attitude. He seems to be a man of integrity. And who's this one? This is the other candidate. This is the other Republican candidate. What can I say about Republican candidates? I just been have been having been one. This is another one. Who's this one? Let me see the name of this one. This is another one of the less known candidates. And look at the announcements. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah. As you can see, very, very theatrical, very, very, very theatrical, very, oh, yes, some newspaper. So I don't know who's this candidate, but what he's saying is that it's gonna take a little bit more than the classic jacket and tie and oh, you are bad and I'm good and vote for me because I'm good, because we very well know that many times politicians really are as bad as they think. So these are the governor candidates. This is and I happen to know happen particularly is one of those peculiarities that it's very rare that you happen to know everybody, but I do. And I know all the candidates. I feel strange about that. So this is Daniel Cameron, the Attorney General. We know him because of the Breonna Taylor situation. Kelly Craft, I know her personally. I was in January this year, last year, when Roe versus Wade was about to be a was the lay was about to be revoked, the law was about to be revoked. We have a right to life, a demonstration before the city, in front of the city hall, and Kelly Craft was there, and more or less they were saying that she will be announcing her candidacy to become a governor of the Kentucky, but and so I know her personally. I was in another meeting with Eric Dieters. I like the guy, not to be entirely honest. You know, I like Eric Dieters. This is Mike Harmon. This is the other two lesser known candidates. So I'm gonna be saying the names and things like that. Those are the candidates. And the chaplain says something that I find very interesting. And is that the Attorney General Russell Coleman, Governor, and yes. So what he's explaining is that everybody that wants to be governor in Kentucky goes the way of becoming Attorney General, and after becoming Attorney General, then he becomes a governor. But then Daniel Cameron having only one term as Attorney General, and now he's just running for governor. Um, he finds, and I can't deny him the right, the chaplain find that it's kind of a little bit too fast. There's nothing wrong with that, but the Secretary of State, the one he wants to vote is Stephen Nipper, because the current the current situation is that Michael Adams it used to be a lawyer. Michael Adams used to be a lawyer in Missouri. And then now we know that, or it is known that Michael Adams had a serious legal situation. It has been found. And he said, well, the Secretary of State definitely, I would really don't like Michael Adams. Michael Adams really have been having a poor performance. He opens Kentucky to the mail-in ballots, which are not exactly something. My friend Andrew Cooper is the one that has been it's been basically favored by the conservatives to be part of the to be the treasurer of Kentucky. I will say yes, 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 yes. I have to really agree with him, because I must admit that I personally met happens to me that I met Mr. Olika, and yes, I agree with the chaplain that Olika is simply a Democrat that registered a Republican, just so that trying to cash in the Republican desire to favor diversity. And then, yeah, he's trying to catch in that. He's trying to catch his chips in that. But I don't really think Mr. Olika honest to goodness, I don't really think he's a conservative. I don't believe it. He's been found a lot of there's a lot of things that he have said that are not had nothing to do with conservative to be a conservative. So that's the reason why he's you know that's the reason why the chaplain say Miss Lee what says, and I agree with him that yes, I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% with Mr. Olika. And I said it happens to be that I also I was one day at the Republican Party when I was running for office, and I think the Mr. Olika arrived and I saw him personally. No, no, that's the idea. You do whatever you want. I'm passing you my information, and this is city and council talk. And I know I have not for a good while say anything, so you don't have to say what I said. I just passing you my opinion because we all can, and these are the things that happen. Derek Peters is the one that he feels that is a good person to become auditor. Listen, this is the problem with Kentucky. People have a lot of stories behind it, like the story of Michael Adams, like the fact that Daniel Cameron, as Attorney General, is being backed up by Mitch McConnell, who have well, I don't need to really tell you exactly who he is. You know him better than I do. But the reality is that it is kind of strange for the conservatives that Mr. McConnell, it's been, first of all, he's not been really actually in good health lately. So it's nothing. He back up Richard Heath. I like Mr. Chell, who is also running for Commissioner of Agriculture. I like Mr. Chell. I happen to like a different person for that. He recommends that, but I like Mr. Chell. So nothing wrong with that, of course. But those are personal ideas about the people. One of the things that I have learned in my goings back and forth in Kentucky is that people jump from one place to another, and you have people that everybody knows. Everybody knows that person is not a conservative, or everybody knows that person is not as liberal as it seems to be. And yes, everybody just Kentucky is normal. So you know exactly who is who. You know exactly where everybody comes from. And anyway, but I do believe that is the time is coming, looking at the consequences of our actions and our votings. I think the time is coming for us to stop gambling with that and tossing the coin in the air, into the air, and expecting that something different is going to happen. And I'm just trying to remind you that if we have not been through enough already with our situations, with 2020, with the lockdowns, with the protest, with all the things that we went through. So my question is, and with that I close, don't you think it's time for Kentucky to start just taking seriously the fact that if you are conservative and you cannot prove that you are, shouldn't we use our common sense and just, guys, sorry, it's not gonna happen. And we've been exposed. Look, I have been talking about the obscene materials in the school. We're talking about the fact that the schools has been talking about the fact that that we're still fighting to get the school choice in place, even though the kids are failing. That's miserably. And by the way, I want to talk about that because there's something that I don't think anybody's talking about. No candidate or anything, or anybody for that matter. But there is still there. And then what never ceases to impress me is that things are not getting through because when we are supposed to be in majority, there are still people that cannot have the authority to come and stop the things we want to happen for our kids. And then, shouldn't we take it a little bit more serious? This voting thing. That's it's just my idea. you know. And I want us to talk about something serious also, city and council talk. Because it's not nosotros en casa in Spanish. Probably they don't necessarily have to pay attention. But city and council talks that there is a challenge going on in our schools. And this is why we want to talk about educational choice. And we have to take very seriously. I know, for instance, Kelly Craft have an advertisement when it says that uh, liberal bureaucrats are trying to come into the schools, and the first thing I'm going to do is to dismantle the educational system. Okay, you, you know, I'm not trying to undermine, and I know I'm not undermining anything, but that doesn't sound credible. You know, eh, that doesn't sound credible. So I don't have any problem with Kelly Craft being governor. I really don't. And I do believe that she was a good ambassador. But ambassador is not a governor. And I'm going to dismantle the education system. The last but not least is that the chaplain said something very interesting. He said, you know what? Out of all the candidates tomorrow, there was about one or two candidates that really were the only ones that said, guys. And the problem is that if every time we are just trying to talk about a everything we're talking about is shooting, throwing stones to one another. What time do we have to hear what is it? You know, what is it? What are about the problems that really concern us about? We are concerned about. So this is one of the things that I agree with him, and I agree tremendously with the chaplain about that. Listen, if all the time if everything you do is talking about how bad Cameron or what was the wrong thing that Cameron did back up in the day, then what about the things we care about? What about the things we are concerned about? What about the things we need to see resolved in the schools? And that is so important. It's so important that I really and want to encourage you. Whenever you see it, I don't care. It could be in a month. Because now, tomorrow are the primaries, but the elections are in November. So we're still going to be there. Notwithstanding the fact that next year is the big deal. So I think Kentucky is time Kentuckians. And there is something that I'm going to close with that. I don't want to occupy too much of my time, but there is something that I want to really ask about. Have you ever heard any politicians say anything about the situation of the drug trafficking in the schools? I think we owe to put them to hold their feet on the fire and not stop until they tell us what are their intentions about the school choice or they stop the trafficking in the schools. And I ran for office last year, and I interviewed people last year. I have yet to hear nobody talking about that. If you think like you have heard somebody saying anything about that, perfect, that's good. I'm fine. Just comment below. Just look, that's the channel. Like me sort of say, comment below, like, comment, subscribe, and we're gonna talk about that particular topic. Why I'm talking about this? Because I've had the terrible circumstances that I have no less than three parents, Hispanic parents, who are struggling with kids, who have who are addicted, addicted to marijuana, and they are being provided of the drugs within the school system. And I have in my living room the other day a mother crying, telling me they suspend my son because he take the drug. I don't know why they don't suspend the guy who's selling the drug. I will leave you with that comment. Who's selling the drugs in the school? If it's a child, why is the child not suspended and imprisoned for drug trafficking? If he's an adult, who is selling drugs within the school system? Do you realize if it's somebody that comes from the outside, and gets into the schools through the same door that an adult entered to the school to sell drugs, through that same door can enter somebody to kill the kids in the school. And if it's a teacher or an administrator, really? Food for your thoughts. That's all it is. Nothing else, nothing more, nothing else. But this is a real problem. Kids are being provided with drugs within the schools. And I know CRT is a bad thing. I know. I know perfectly. I'm coming from Cuba. What should I say? It's a bad thing. All the ups and downs and turns and toss and fro from the transgender or the gender ideology is a bad thing. It is. You know it. We know. I've been obscene materials in the schools. But I think the school topic, we have to hold politicians' feet on the fire for something else. And it's the drug trafficking within the schools. And if they are trafficking drugs in the school, what else are they doing in the schools that we don't know anything about? What else are the kids suffering within the school system? Food for your thoughts. That's all it is. That's all it is. I'm not having pretensions of anything. Food for thoughts. So there it is. So we are trying to, Commissioner of Agriculture, State Treasurer. I don't think it's gonna be a big deal because it's either Andrew Cooper Ryder, who was the small business owner from Lexington, who stood up to Andy Bechir and won in court, or Mr. Oliker, who definitely, yes, he's very liberal, very globalist, very environmentalist, very diversity and inclusion guy. He indeed is. I'm not even joking about it. He just want to run as a conservative. That's all. Nothing else. Last but not least, the attorney general, the governor, the commissioner. But above all and foremost, because whoever comes out in the primary is fine, we still have until November to hold their foot in the fire about the drug trafficking within the schools. I refuse to believe that is only in Jefferson County. I refuse to believe, which is only that is happening only in the Hispanic schools and not in the English-speaking schools. I don't think so. Perhaps I'm wrong. If I am, go to La Emisora say, or right here in City and Council talk, comment, tell me, no, you're wrong. In the Hispanic, it's only in the Hispanic church, in the Hispanic schools, or in the schools where Hispanic kids are and the American kids are not being drugged in the schools. You are wrong. That's not an issue. Okay, thank you. That's no problem. Somehow, I feel like that's not the case. But if you say it, I believe it. I don't have any other way to prove it. I cannot prove you wrong. Okay? And remember, tomorrow, if you can, please vote. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. When the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. If you feel entirely happy with the current state of affairs, fine, that's no problem. But if you are not, then yes. It's time for us to do something. Unlike the chaplain, Mr. Lee Watts, says, liberty is not a sports, it's not a spectator's game. I like to repeat that. I like the way he said it. Freedom is not a spectator's game. We cannot expect it to be free and Nothing is going to happen. So, guys, that's it. See you around. Bye bye.